Okay, so welcome to episode 1 of Johnny5 Live. It has been a while since I've made my own videos, and if you go back and watch my other videos and look at how sick this background looks and stuff like that, we've come a long way. A lot has happened since I started making my own videos. I started making a series called TopMid.eu News for those people, 8 people that are watching that don't know me. I don't know why you'd be watching if you don't know me. I haven't made a forum post or anything like that. I've only really tweeted it out and got a few people here because it's just really a test to see how we get on, and probably see what the feedback is like when I upload the video to YouTube. So basically what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about R49, and I'm going to discuss whether I thought it was a success or not. And I'm also, instead of doing a write-through, which a write-up, which a lot of people do, I just thought I'd make a video and make my life a lot easier instead of writing an essay about I-49, because there is, as his I-49 write-up was massive, but I'm pretty sure this time, considering the antics we got up to, like, mine would be a lot bigger. So yeah, and I'm also going to touch upon the V5 settings and where I stand on having V5 settings. Okay, good LAN, bad LAN will probably feature. I've got a lot to say about I-49, and I'm going to jump straight in. If you ask me, it was a great event. It was a total success, and I'll go into it a little bit more in a minute. I just want to say a big thank you to all the staff, Gemma, Sims, Jules, Roy, Meikle, Johnston, anyone that helped ref the games as well. I know we were a bit short on referees and stuff like that, but even considering the amount of official referees we didn't have, everything went pretty smoothly. The admins were pushing the schedule quite a lot. They were trying to get the games in as quickly as possible, which it turned out well anyway. But yeah, it was a total success. So thanks to all the admin. The stream was amazing. Considering what our previous streams have been like and the feedback we've got from them, they actually listened. The stream capabilities were immense. The only thing that let it down a little bit stream-wise is I think they didn't have like a name underneath the players or whatever, but obviously that was the first time they'd set up the equipment, so it's not really their fault. So yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the people who helped set it up. Obviously consoledeals.co.uk, the official sponsor, Astro as well, for providing us with the equipment. I remember going to ECL1 and loads of people stole all the Astro gear and stuff like that, and I've not heard of anyone actually stealing any mix amps or headsets or anything like this time around. So big shout out to Astro for providing us with that. The prize pool was absolutely massive. Squidrip's giving away a few cheeky prizes as well, and that was absolutely huge. The prizes were immense, and if you ask me, it was a success. Now, a lot of people have said competition wasn't that high. People are saying not that many top teams attended. High Society finished 3rd, and they weren't very practiced. But if you ask me, we was only missing really Uprising and Vibe, and that was because the Halo 4 Global Championship was going on, the qualifier anyway, at exactly the same time. So, had that been the case, we would have only had another 2 or 3 top teams, who were missing. But the way I look at it is, we got, I think we got 19 teams. Okay, so at this stage in Halo 4, like, the way the game is at the moment, it's not very nice. It's decent. It's better than what it was out of the box, but it's still not amazing. The core gameplay is not amazing. So for us to get 19 teams is huge, absolutely huge. And the reason why it's huge is because of the amount of young players and new players who decided to come to that event. I'll go through the placements in a minute, but we finished 6th, okay? And I don't think anyone who could have shown up, who would have been seeded below us, would have beat us. So I think we earned our 6th place. We got exactly the placement that we went for, and that was a lot was down to the amount of practice we put in, which is fair play. But a lot of teams turned up unpracticed. I'm not gonna lie, I've not heard of a lot of these players that turned up. But literally from like 8th down to 20th, it was up for grabs. It was completely up for grabs. It was really peculiar how it worked because NMB finished 7th. Okay, Now, fair play to NMB for finished 7th. That's a huge placement for everyone on that team. And considering the people that they beat on the way to getting 7th, you know, they beat Critical and Catapult's team. Now, them 2 players, like, they're top 8 players, if you ask me. Like, they got top 8 at their last event. And they had Baines and... who else did they have? I should know this, but... oh, yeah, they had HSW, who's, you know, I'm pretty sure he's shot to a LAN before, but he's not been around that much. But, yeah, so NMB did well. And then the skill gap between us and NMB is massive. Like, if we'd have played them, we would have given them a 3-0, a quick 3-0. I'm pretty sure. But then, you know, a massive skill gap again, if you ask me. From, you know, like 8th, like I said, down to 20th. Like, that was really, really up for grabs. And it's impressive. It's impressive because we've got to the point now where all these old school players, yeah, people like to call them GOATs, right? But all these previous champions, okay, you know, they're starting to drift off a little bit. They're losing interest in, you know, they lost interest at the start of the game, I'm pretty sure, because it was garbage. And, you know, they're not. You know, there's a bit of hype around them coming back, but eventually, like, you know, your Outbreaks, your Deceptions, your French and your German teams, like, they're going to take over, and eventually all these old school players who you know, were good at Halo 3, who were, you know, won Reach events and stuff like that, they're all going to disappear, man. So it's good to know that there is a lot of young players who are right up behind them, who show passion and want to get good. Because they will be the next generation, you mark my words, okay? So, I'm going to talk about a little bit how I-49 went for me, and just, you know, how I remember the event, okay? So, on Thursday, we went down there on Thursday to Telford. Our hotel was 22 miles away from the event. It was a little bit awkward because you have to get taxis, like, there and back. We picked up Snipe Drone, or Javi did anyway, and we dropped Snipe Drone off at a little lonely hotel. And right across the road from his hotel was another little inn called the Cock Hotel, and we was pretty sure that's where Outbreak was staying for quite a while. So, you know, I've posted a meme and a few pictures up of the Cock Hotel. So from now, unofficially, we're going to just say that Outbreak stayed at the Cock Hotel. Again, Snipe Drone had a bit of a mare, I believe, before I got in the car. Snipe Drone somehow got Scotland confused with Ireland, and Xavi was saying to him, "Oh, you know, when's Adamak coming down? Like, what time are you going to be arriving?" And Snipe Drone was like, "Oh, well, I don't know. Do you reckon they've got over the water yet?" So I'm pretty sure he had a bit of a mare. So he got confused between Scotland and Ireland, I'm sure. But Thursday night was pretty quiet. We had a game plan. Let's get there. Let's not drink that much, even though we did have a few bevies on Thursday night. Get an early night, and let's go on Friday. Now, Friday started off with the free-for-alls. Me and Xavi got first rounded. Like, a bit of a shock for Xavi, I think, because he won a lot. He did win quite a lot of free-for-alls online. Or he looked like he was going to be a handy person at free-for-alls, but he got first rounded. I got first rounded, which was expected of me, I suppose. I've never got past the first round in a free-for-all. I don't play free-for-alls online. I'm absolutely garbage at free-for-alls. I end up having like 5 kills and 2 deaths or something like that. I just don't know how to play free-for-alls. So I got first rounded. Sif and Slinky got third round, I think, like top 32 or something like that. So they had a little decent run. Now, what stood out for me on Friday was this young lad called Looney Dogs. Okay, I'm pretty sure he got the first technical of the event, and if you remember, the rules this time around for technicals are pretty strict. Like, you weren't allowed to trash talk, you weren't allowed to be overly aggressive. Like, you can be passionate, but this guy was handing out a bit of, he was passionate, don't get me wrong, but he was handing out a bit of trash talk, and he got the first technical of the event. And this is a guy who's like, it's definitely his first LAN event, and he must be 14, 15 or something like that. And I remember watching his team play against HS, and them guys were pumped. Like, they were so pumped, and they were making plays. This is the thing, like, they weren't just like screaming and running around like headless chickens. They were actually making plays. So I think they Dexterity. Let me have a look at their final placements. They were called Dexterity, and they finished 13th. Now that, you know, I finished top 6 this time around, but that would have you know, bettered any of my previous placements. So, you know, they've seen off people like Timo Supremo, Get Off the Clown, Velociraptors, Existence, which I think was Waffles' team. So yeah, they seen off teams like that, which, you know, on paper before the event you would have said that, you know, there's no way, like, them guys are definitely going to finish last or whatever. Like, even the Halo 2 kids who signed up on the day, like, I would have pitched them to beat them kids, but, you know, they've done quite well. Also, there was a girl called Shay, and she decided to jump into the free-for-all. I think she plays Call of Duty, like, a lot. So there was a girl called Shay, and she jumped in the free-for-all, and she sat down at the station in front of me and started playing in the free-for-all. And straight away she said to me, "What are the buttons?" And honestly, like, that was it was so good to see. I know the girls team have rekindled a bit of passion for this game, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see a girls team at I-50 watch this space. I-50 has not been confirmed yet, but hopefully that news will come through soon. So yeah, that stood out for me because that was hilarious watching Shay outbe our Banes a few times, and also Mystical. I'm pretty sure she gave Mystical the D at one point. Okay, so after that, I was about to coach Waffles' team versus Looney Dog's team, and I was setting my mix amp up and talking to my team, and just, you know, trying to get them a bit pumped, keep them calm, and talk to Waffles a lot, because Waffles had a good event. It's Waffles has started. He's been to 2 lands now. His first LAN was a little bit wobbly. Second LAN, you know, this LAN he was tearing it up. He was actually tearing it up. You know, he wasn't missing shots. He was trying to lead his team. I think, you know, he probably, like, outplayed the rest of his team if he was gonna say that. But I was about to coach them, and then Sif come over to me and he was like, "Oh yeah, I found out who were playing first game." So I was like, "All right, you know, who is it?" Like, I was expecting, you know, a Dexterity or Timo Supremo or Lamppost team, and he said, "You're playing Revolt." Now, Revolt is like my arch nemesis team. Like, they're my bogey team. Like, in previous events I've been known for, like, making a lot of noise, unjustified noise, because I've not had a placement to back my mouth up, okay? And I'm not saying I do have now, like, I have calmed down a lot. All I'm saying is I made a lot of noise in the last 2 previous events against Revolt, and literally had it thrown in my face. Like, Brumbot and Human, like, at the last 2 events, and Godly have literally gave me the wobble, and, you know, made me choke, and that's why they knocked me out of the last 2 events. So Nick, Godly, I turned around to him. He was like, "Oh, you got Revolt," and the look on my face, like, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared, and the reason I was scared is because going into that event, everyone was like, "Oh, you should be looking at top 8, but you should easy get top 6." And then when you get your bogey team first round, and you're like, "Oh," like, looking at their names just filled me full of fear, and I was like, all that confidence going into, all that calm and confidence going into that LAN just went away. Like, just literally drained me. I was like, oh my god. Luckily, we beat them. I think we gave them the 3-0. We went 1-0 down first game on Simplex Flag. They took a cap literally instantly because they got the overshield, and that was a test for me and for my team, I'm pretty sure. Like, that was a massive test for me. You didn't go 2-0 up, Human. I'm not letting you have that. It was 1-0. You might have got 2 caps, but you went 1-0 up. But yeah, that, you know, it's a test for you. You have to just ignore it. You have to just play your game, improve your communications, and you can't let it get to you. And I think before the match, I thought, you know, if they go 1-0 up or they start to win, you know, I might have a cheeky wobble. I might have a cheeky Smithy Tornado windmill. But I didn't. We pulled through it. I think the Slayer was pretty close on Onyx until about halfway, in which, like, Sif got this, like, cheeky little back smack, and yeah, we went on there. I think we won like 50-37 or something like that. So it was 2-0 eventually. But that was a scary moment for me. Friday night, I can't remember any other matches that caught my eye on Friday. I don't know. Can anyone in the chat remember anything that I might have missed on Friday? We was pretty tired, like, after the Revolt game, and I know, like, people wanted us to play the French then and there, but we kind of dodged that and then put it off till tomorrow. So Anyone in the chat back me up? What else might have gone down on Friday that I might have missed? Right, nothing. Either way, on Friday night, you know, we knew Saturday was going to be the game day. We had a few drinks at the venue. We had a few drinks at the venue, and then we got back to our hotel. We didn't really get an early night because we got back at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we just had so much fun. Like, no one was trying to sleep. Like, there was so many jokes and stuff going around. You know, it was a really good atmosphere. Like, I know we've broken up now, and things have turned a bit sour, and I've been a little bit bitter about it. But yeah, like it was a great event, and having Webb coach us, like that guy is so funny, and I'm pretty sure no matter what I do, Webb's going to be my official coach. So it's going to be Team Webb. Maybe that's what I should change my team name to. But yeah, Friday night we went home early. Saturday, game day. This is when shit got hairy. Okay, so we lost to the French. They started making a bit of noise on Saturday. I was shocked at like the amount of noise they were making, just because they like took a cheeky Slayer, and you know they absolutely dominated us online, like unbelievably so. So we put up a bigger fight against the French than I thought we were going to do. We actually took Station 9 off them, and they started to make loads of noise, and like instantly, like they got the first convert. Like they didn't even get an extract. They just converted the first extract point at top mid, and they just started making loads of noise. So, you know, I had to like bite my tongue a little bit, and eventually, like, I remember standing up because we converted. Like, they made loads of noise. We went in there, converted straight away, and I remember stood up, like, looking at them holding the B button with one hand, and that was a bit of a stupid move. I do not recommend anyone does that, because if you choke and you accidentally drop your pad or pull your lead out or some shit like that, like, you know, you're gonna be made to look a fool. So don't do that. That was foolish of me, but we pulled off. We took a game off them. They eventually 3-1'd us. Then we went swiftly on. Well, not very swiftly because there was a massive break. We then played Animals team. Their team name was, I have no idea. I can't even remember who's on the team. I honestly don't know. TNL. I don't know what that is. But it was Animal, Straight Main, Evo for Fun, and someone else helped me out. Oh yeah, they were called the Next Level. Super Straight, Animal, Evo for Fun, Star Fox. Boom. Okay, now we got a little bit complacent against these guys. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure these guys will be happy with the first game at least, because it was like 5-4 to us on Simplex. I'm pretty sure we had like every OS, but we did like nothing with it or something. Like, I don't know, but we just got complacent. Our communication has dropped quite a lot, and you know, we didn't even shrug it off. We just played awful. Like, there was not one point in the game when someone stopped us and went, "Right, boys, what are we actually doing?" So we just, you know, ran through it, you know, windmilling and doing random stuff, and somehow we won the game. We had Haven Slayer, and that was a 49-49 situation on Haven Slayer, and I don't really class that as a close game because Haven's a 50-50. Like, I think it's a crap map for Slayer. You know, maybe not if you've got a setup or some sort of strategy, but we tried so many different strategies and stuff like that, and you know, it didn't pay off against any team. Like, we'd either like beat Deception like 50-30, or you know, lose to Deception 50-10 in the next time we played them or whatever. So that was a 49-49 situation where Sif like shot a guy in the ankle in a BR battle for the last kill. So we all went a little bit crazy after that. Then we played Mutiny. Now, I don't know what happened to Mutiny at this event. Like, I know they lost on Malzy and they didn't have as much practice as us, but you know, they were when we were smashing them online, yeah, and I mean smashing them after we picked up Slinky. they were saying like, oh, you won't be able to do it on LAN because you haven't got any LAN experience. Like, we're all experienced. Like, blah blah blah. So they were expecting to give us, you know, a decent game, a decent series at least. But I don't know. I honestly do not know what happened to them. That LAN experience, like, you didn't feel it. You didn't feel like you were on the back foot because these guys have been to the LAN before, and you should be a little bit more nervous because you know, you've not been to as many LANs. So they were expecting Xavi and Sif to have a nightmare. Now on Friday, I'd go as far as saying that Xavi had a nightmare. Like, he was tired, he was moany, he was garbage on Friday. Okay, on Saturday, like, Sif and Xavi stepped it up a notch. You know, me and Slink were just, you know, consistently average. Okay, so we played Mutiny. I think they took a Slayer on Onyx. Xavi had a little cheeky choke on. We were 4-0 up on Onyx flag at one point. Xavi had a little cheeky choke where there was a 2-shot, top green, recovering a flag. Xavi was full shield at top middle, and instead of shooting the guy and then going in the pickup, his head like went twisted a little bit, and he just tried to run, and he just lost his composure. And then they got a bit of a momentum for that. So and I think it ended up like 5-3 or something like that. We came close to choking or whatever, but we pulled it round. Also, we played them on CTF Dispatch. Now, this was the match. Like, they went 2-0 up on Dispatch flag in the space of 45 seconds, and you know, the pressure, like, you feel it. You feel that little conversation you have with yourself in your head of, is this really happening? Like, this was I think this was game 1 actually. Like, is this going to happen? And I just remember saying to everyone, I was like, alright boys, stop what you're doing, let's play some Halo. And that's all I had to say. And we won that game 5-2. Like, we literally just turned it on. Sif started dropping people with snipes, because Sif, everyone was really smart and snaky, because every team that we played must have had someone who was semi-decent with a sniper. Okay? Now, when they played us, they knew Sif was a beast with sniper. So they vetoed every single snipe game. Like, Dispatch flag was off the card straight away. Dispatch Slayer gone. Haven gone. Like, everyone just wanted to play us on maps with no snipe. So it didn't pay off, did it? It didn't quite pay off that strategy you had. That genius thought of, let's just cock block Sif and not give him a snipe. It didn't pay off, did it, boys? It didn't. You know, we still came out on top. So these close series that, you know, Mutiny and Animals team will say that they had, like, yeah, they will say that, but if we'd have played them on any sort of dispatch map, then we would have just Sif would have just tore faces, and I would have just dominated ring 3, and, you know, Xavi and Slinky would have just pulled flags left, right and centre and gone about plus 30, and you'd have been a laughing stock. So they tried to cop block Sif, and then when Sif finally got a snipe in his hands, it was kind of too late, because we did a bit of work on Mutiny, we saw them off, see you later Mutiny, I think that was a 3-1. Then we played A4D. Don't really want to talk about it that much because we didn't really show up. We went off in the Dispatch Slayer. We beat them like 50-33, 50-35 or something like that. We smashed them. I'm not sure how close we thought the other games were, but I think Slinky had a bit of a meh. I think he struggled in this series because it meant more to him. Like, that he's very good friends with A4D. And Jules, he was sat across from Jules, and I don't know, I think we all were content already at the placement we got. We never sat down and really said, boys, like, we can still do this, we can still go for top 4. Like, we were content, so we were chilling, and you know, I expected a lot of banter pre-game against A4D, but they were taking it deadly serious, man. Like, I just thought that they would think that they knew they were going to beat us and have a little bit more of a laugh, but they were deadly. There wasn't a lot of trash talk. I think we went a little bit crazy when we took a Slayer off them, which is justified because it felt good. Like, it wasn't just us taking a random Slayer; it was us like absolutely dominating Dispatch. So that was awesome. We lost them 3-1. We played Deception in consoles. They, again, even in consoles, good job. It did pay off for Deception. They cockblocked Sif. We didn't play any fucking dispatch against them. And they give us the swift 3-0, I'm pretty sure. They looked pretty down and out. We were already done. Like, our tournament was pretty much already over. I tried to give a little banter. I did end up raging at critical just before this game. I don't know if we took a game off Deception. I can't remember. But I had a bit of a rage at critical, and I'm going to apologise to him a little bit, because when I was in his position, when I showed up with a makeshift, I did give Revolt a lot of crap, like I was saying before, and he was just doing the same. Now, he didn't shut up the whole event, to be fair, and I was sat there, and Slinky was sat on the end, and I was sat like middle left, like it went Sif, me, Xavi, and Slinky, because, you know, Az at the last event gave me some great advice. He said, where your two main communicators, stick them in the middle. Put the monitors really close, everyone's monitors really close, two communicators in the middle. So that was our lineup. Slinky was sat on the end, and all I could hear while warming up against Deception was Critical's big mouth trash talking Revolt. So I turned around, I was like, I'm not taking this. So I gave him a little banter, he gave me a little bit back, and then I basically said that Pinchy was going to be placement checking him for the next 6 months, which is untrue because the event's in 3 months, but it worked at the time. All the PC kids behind me thought it was hilarious, even though they didn't know who Critical was and they didn't know who Pinchy was. But it paid off. You know, hopefully he doesn't feel too bad about it. And, you know, that was our event over. Now, I don't really want to talk too much about the finals because we was all there and we saw the finals. It was epic, if you ask me. The French, like, you know, showed up more than what I thought they would have done. And I think Outbreak, having 3-0'd HS, and I think they like 6-2'd the French overall in the winners final, and then the actual grand final. So I think it was like 6-2 overall. So it was strong. It was a statement. I think they are the next generation of players. So yeah, it was 6-2. So yeah, I think they are the next generation of players. Like, it's going to be hard to knock them off their peg. Like, someone said to me yesterday, well, what if like MVP, Blackjack, Baxter, and Fusions start playing tomorrow and sweat it every single day until I-50? And I was like, I still don't think there will be Outbreak, like, because you know, that team's strong. Like, you looked at Snipe Drone, he was like a machine. It's like an emotionless machine. Didn't get anxious, didn't get nervous in towards shutting the final out, even though Outbreak was still playing well. Smithy and Adavac were having a bit of a wobble, but that's because they knew the win. The event was there, the prize money was there. It was, you know, it was there for the taking. I think the closer it got to that, they started to show a bit more emotion and get on top of each other a little bit. But I think Jimbo, loads of passion in this kid, like, gone from top 8 first event to then winning an event. And Snipe Drone, second event maybe, went 10th to win an event. Like, this guy's a machine. These guys are the next players, and it'll be hard. It'll be really, really hard for a new team to come back and start sweating it out. I'm not saying if Vibe, Uprising or HS, you know, sweat it out. I'm not saying they won't be able to beat them. I'm just saying it's not going to be easy. And I hope it's taught everyone a lesson. I hope it's taught all the old goats and these players who are a bit lackluster but still want to turn up to the line. I hope it's taught them a lesson that when you've got intelligent, skillful players like Outbreak, and they're smashing it every day, and they're getting loads of scrims against decent players, like, this is what happens. So that's pretty much it for my 49 roundup. Now, I will say two things. I got two things more to say. I got trashed at the pub quiz. It was immense, and there was loads of people there, like Az and Mutiny were there, and Rosie'd shown up on the Saturday as well. That was immense. Shout out to everyone who was in the pub quiz. I was a little bit too drunk, I'm not going to lie, but it was epic either way. On the way home in the taxi. Now, I'd forgotten about this, but currently, during the game, I think maybe against the French or Mutiny on Onyx, CTF Webb called out 20 seconds till rockets, guys, and Xavi was like, rockets? Like he actually believed that rockets were going to drop in 20 seconds. Like he was rolling up his sleeves like, don't worry guys, the other team thinks OS is coming up in 20 seconds. They do not know what's going to hit him. Rockets are coming up in 20 seconds, guys. We got this. Like, it was so funny. Like I just knew that he meant OS, but Xavi was like, rockets? Really? As if. He couldn't believe it, so we we had a little dig at Xavi and Webb for those call-outs, and also Webb called an OS out against Outbreak. No, we didn't play Outbreak. Deception. Called an OS on Element flag, and must have called it about 10 seconds. About 10 seconds early, so me, Sif, we both ran up to top mid, and we were doing that little head rub thing, where you like rub your head against like the OS, and we were waiting for OS, and we both got killed, and it never came up. So we were digging on Web quite a lot, and there's quite a few memes, and I will throw them in my event montage, which is probably going to come out in the next week or so. So I-49. For me, it was completely epic because I finished top 6, and I deserved to finish top 6. Even if Vibe, Uprising, SOH would have shown up, I still would have got top 10. So, you know, I deserve my placement. I'm a free agent. God knows why. I had a sick event. You know, I don't trash talk anymore, which is unusual. I just play Halo really calmly and emotionless, and I get a little bit hyped when the other team starts trash talking after I've won a series or after we take the game a little bit. But you know, I've calmed down a lot, so I don't know. Still don't know how I'm still a free agent. Sif basically has got uni coming up, and he said like he's just not enjoying the game, so he said he was going to back out. Obviously, apparently Webb said, "Oh, I'm not going to tell the story about Xavi versus the Taxi Man because it's a little bit embarrassing on Xavi's account." So we'll let that one slide. But yeah, I'm a free agent. If anyone's looking for a team out there, I'm going to say this: I do have high expectations of a team that I want to get on. I want to get on a team that is going to stick for more than one event. I don't even care if we have to go and get a top 12 at the first event that we go to. I just want it to be there for the future. I've got a few people who are interested in sponsoring me and a team, so there's my little advert out there. Now, V5. Let's have it. V5 and where I stand on V5. Now, pretty sure we had a vote on V5. On V4 versus TM settings. There was like 2 shows at the time, talk shows, I don't know what their names were, but they were garbage, and they were like 1 hour long discussion shows, and they just got guests on and just talked crap for an hour. So there was a lot of that going on, like there was guests on each show talking about V4 settings and why we should have a universal rule set, and I'm pretty sure V5 even, I'm pretty sure we had a vote, and yeah, the TM settings won by an absolute mile. There won't be a vote this time because the TM settings or a new rule set, if someone wants to create one, would probably whitewash V5 out of the park like it did against V4. Now, people want me to say, they want everyone to jump on board and just go along with it, guys. It doesn't matter. Let's just do it. Halo 4's a piece of shit. Let's just play these settings that American guys, Ghosty Army, have made, because this way people will be more likely to play Throwdown and come into our community and play competitive settings because they're used to the settings they're playing in matchmaking. And we need matchmaking as a good form of practice. I don't agree with you. Sorry, I really don't. Like even Reach was terrible. Even Reach matchmaking was terrible as a form of practice for competitive people. Like it was garbage. Like Halo 3 was really decent because of the true skill that you would always match someone who is a little bit better than you or a little bit worse than you. So it was a good form of practice. Now, the last time I turned on Halo 4 was probably just before Insomnia, and the population of Team Throwdown was at a massive 275. Now, what percentage of those 275 do you reckon are European casuals who don't... I say casuals, but I mean people who don't show up to LAN events, okay? What percentage do you think? I would say about 5%, but we'll be friendly and say 10%, okay? So you get 27.5 people who will be playing Throwdown and will feel more comfortable coming and playing in our settings. Okay, now that's huge. That's huge. That's, you know, I would take another 27.5 casuals to pump in at the bottom end. You know, they would prop up the community. We might get 30 teams if that happened. Here's the problem. I was being friendly with the 10%, and that conversion rate is not going to happen. That would be a 100% conversion rate of casuals in there. So out of them 27 people, I reckon about 5 to 10 people might happen to find our forums, happen to look on the competitive side of things, and possibly want to get involved. Now, this is important. This is really important. We have to encourage these younger players and these noobs, these top 24 kids from the last event, top 16 kids from the last event. We have to encourage them, and we do need new youngsters coming in. All I'm saying is, the reason I got into Halo wasn't because the matchmaking settings matched against the competitive settings in America. It's not the reason. The reason was because I watched the American competitive settings live at MLG, and I literally shit my pants. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is what is that? Is that another guy shooting another guy? And there's 4 of them, and they're blue and they're red, and there's rockets, and they're playing for money, and these guys are awesome. Walshy, you know. And that's the reason why I got into competitive, because it was being played at a refined amount. Like, it was, you know, it was refined. It was professional. It was like no noob weapons allowed, no assault rifles, no shit weapons. Like, we're using rifles and a few shotguns, and that's it. And there's going to be overshields and camos and loads of other stuff that you can dive on. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I got into competitive settings, and that's why people get into competitive. Like, Halo 4 Global Championship was massive. It was amazing watching that final. You know, I'm not into free for alls, but you know, in the finals, I'm like, you know, this is getting serious now. I'm going to watch this, and they said they had a million views, but I don't believe that for a second. You know, it was epic. It was good for the game. It was good for communities, and that will ignite a lot of people to get into the game, because they're seeing how much money, you know, and how serious this is. It's an e-sport. It's a sport. This isn't just a game, like, and that's why people get into communities. It's stuff like that. You know, had that money been poured into 4v4s, I'm sure we would already see a massive rise of teams starting up, you know. And this is another thing as well. There's not a major scene on that PGL, like the old game battles scene anymore. Like, a lot of casuals used to start around like, oh, we'll set our team up. We won't go in competitive customs, but we'll use the game battle settings, and we'll, you know, because if we lose in there, we're not really going to get, you know, the mick taken out of us that much. So game battles, like, there's not that big of a scene on game battles anymore. So I really do not believe that the European rule set, you know, converting and adopting a universal rule set, which will be Throwdown V5, like, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. And I do think any set, any rule set, any map set that we create from this moment forward will probably be more competitive than Throwdown, because, you know, there won't be assault rifles, there won't be needlers, you know. So that's my stance on it anyway. But what are we looking at here? Band and TS, they said that's guaranteed. It's not that good. Like, Haven TS, it's average. It has to be in there, I suppose. Haven Extraction, really, like, you know, I know Dispatch, the massive issue with Dispatch. Like, we need another map. Don't get me wrong, we need another map, but it's not Haven Extraction. Like, that plays just as bad as dispatch extraction, if not worse. But I agree with you on the dispatch thing. Get rid of dispatch layer, you know, get rid of dispatch extraction, but make, you know, get some forge passion on the go or something. I don't know, like, not Haven extraction. It's not that good. Pitfall, wave, pit's coming back. It's always a good thing, isn't it? But it's not scaled for sprint. I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but it's a perfect, almost perfect remake of Pit. The problem is, that Pit we played on Halo 3, we didn't have sprint. It's exactly the same scale of a map, but we've got sprint. So they didn't scale it. See how it works. Probably not going to be as good as old Pits, obviously, but you know, I'm still looking forward to playing competitive Pit. Okay. Simplex TS, I'm okay with that. Onyx TS, I'm okay with that as well. Vertigo, no, not having it. It'll probably, if this V5 thing goes ahead, and I will try my hardest to get it not to go ahead, but if it does go ahead, you know, Vertical, it'll just fizzle out. We'll play it for a little bit, and everyone will be like, oh, this is great, it's really competitive, and then it'll just fizzle out. Orion, I don't know, I've not really seen Orion. I've heard mixed reviews about it. I'm open to it if it's decent. I haven't played it, so I can't really say, but I'm open to it. If it's decent, we'll play it, not a problem. Pitfall TS, sweet. Simplex CTF, why not? Onyx CTF, why not? Element, see you later. Hopefully we'll see you later to Skyline, but apparently Skyline CTF and Skyline TS are going to be in V5. Okay, here's my biggest problem. Do not take away Station 9. Okay, now I know everyone says, like, people starting to learn how to play this map, and there's not many different ways you can play it, but that map is made for extraction. It is an extraction map. Like, I've started up a Slayer by accident on it, and you know, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So yeah, don't get rid of Station 9. We all love Station 9, I'm pretty sure. Like, through all the rough and garbage that is TM settings, and all the shite that is, you know, throwdown settings, I look forward the most to Station 9. But, like I said, there should be a vote. There should be a vote. I really do think so. If Station 9 gets dropped, and we replace it with Abandon Extraction, Vertigo Extraction, and or Haven Extraction, I don't think we've succeeded in converting over to a more professional competitive skill set. And that's all I wanted to say. I don't think there's that much, there's going to be that much movement. Like, yeah, we'll be able to play Throwdown instead of trying to get customs. I know sometimes it's hard to get customs, but all I'm saying is I don't think it's going to make that much difference to the population of our community. And I also definitely do not think we are changing for the better. Like, yeah, our playlists, our rule set, it's a little bit stale because there's loads of maps that are the same. It's a little bit stale, but it's stale. It's playable. It was playable. Problem is, I'm not going to play Adrift. I don't want to play Abandon. I don't want to play Extraction on Haven or Vertigo. So, you know, you guys might want to, but I'm just saying, I love you guys at topmid.eu, I really do. And since Rami has stepped down, everyone's just like, well, alright, well, we're playing V5, it's done. Like, there needs to be a vote, because there are forges out there. You know, there are people who are competent enough to make competitive rule sets. I, for one, with help, would like to get involved with making another rule set. People say, oh, just give it a try, Johnny. Johnny, just give it a try. Well, do you know what? I'm not really in the mood for giving things a try when I've already voted against the majority of the shite that's in V4, and it is, you know, it's being carried over. The shite is still being carried over to some extent, you know, to V5. So that's my opinion. I just wanted to throw it out there and tell you that, you know, these kids who are trying to be like, V5, it's the way forward. It's saving Halo. V5 is saving Halo. It's not. It's not. It's definitely not doing that. But, you know, if they say we're going to do it without taking a vote, then fair play. the hierarchy is spoken, and you know I'll gladly shut up like everyone wants me to do, and I'll play V5. And that's pretty much going to be it. There was loads of shout outs that I should have done. You know, everyone at the event, I love seeing everyone, like Ben, Waffles, oh yeah, White Tide, he was pretty sick, super straight, did pretty fucking beast, pretty sure I'm not very happy about the O'Malsey like quitting. I know Godley's quitting as well. It's really good to see Nick, everyone on my team, enjoyed playing with you guys. Webb, it was good to see like Belio's team. I didn't speak to Lamppost team, they avoided me like the plague for some reason. You know, everyone who I, you know, had conversations with, like, you know, it's you that make competitive events. It's the people, like, it's the social aspects. Like, I don't want to play competitive and stay at home and stuff like that. Like, the end goal is to go to events and socialise and play a game that you love. So everyone who's there, I've not shouted at everyone. Scuffle, Shinato, I see Shinato knocking around. He used to be an ICF kid back on like Halo 3, and I had no idea what he was doing, but I bumped into him in the event as well. That Scuffle kid was really funny. Woodchuck, we had a little thing going where someone made up the phrase, like when a girl walked past, like everyone was asking the question, wood bang or woodchuck, and honestly that was the first time I met Woodchuck, but that guy's he was an awesome guy. So this is episode 1 of Johnny5 Live. I hope to be doing more of these. We'll see what the feedback's like. People might not like this new, honest, bitter Johnny5, but this is the way it's going to be. Thanks to myself for making this awesome background. I know it's a little bit rough around the edges, but it's going to do for now. And peace out, everybody.